Over the last 10 years, Egypt has quietly pulled off one of the most ambitious national transformations you'll find anywhere on the planet. We're talking about a story of mega projects, massive strategic shifts, and a nation that is systematically redesigning its own future. So let's break down how they're actually doing it.
And if you need just one symbol for this whole new era, it has to be the Grand Egyptian Museum. I mean, this isn't just the world's largest museum for a single civilization. It's so much more than that. It's a statement, a powerful symbol of renewed national ambition, and a really modern, forward-looking vision for the country.
But here's the thing. While the museum gets all the global headlines, it's really just the tip of the iceberg. It's the capstone of a much bigger, less visible revolution. A massive national project that's cost, get this, upwards of $200 billion to rebuild and reinforce Egypt's entire economy and infrastructure.
Because this isn't just about a few flashy projects here and there. The core idea, the big picture here, is a total strategic rethink of the entire nation. It's about building a whole new foundation for growth and security, one that's designed to last for the long haul.
All right, so here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll look at how they're building a new economy, the infrastructure that's connecting it all, how the nation is securing its most vital resources, its incredible investment in its own people, and finally, we'll get to the bottom line, the actual economic results.
So where do you even start with a transformation this big? Well, it starts with the economy. Egypt has been making a systematic shift away from relying on imports to becoming a real industrial powerhouse. The goal is simple: made in Egypt.
And a perfect example of this, just look at the smartphone industry. Say, what Egypt did was pretty smart. They used strategic incentives to convince these global giants, we're talking Samsung, Vivo, Nokia, to stop just selling phones in the country and to actually start assembling them there. And the result? It's a win-win, a thriving local industry and more affordable phones for millions of Egyptians.
And the impact of that one move? It's just staggering. Look at this chart. In only 4 years, as local production took off, the amount of money spent importing finished phones absolutely plummeted by 97%. I mean, look at that drop, from $1.8 billion in 2020 all the way down to just $54 million today.
And this push, it isn't just about physical stuff like phones. It's also happening in the knowledge economy. The IT offshoring sector, that's where companies outsource their digital services, has seen its export revenue double in just 3 years. Doubled. It's quickly turning Egypt into a major global hub for tech talent.
Okay, so you've got this new industrial economy humming along. But what does it need? It needs a way to move goods and people, right? You can't grow without modern roads and ports. So that was the next crucial piece of the puzzle, building the physical arteries for all that growth to flow through. And honestly, it's hard to even wrap your head around the scale of the transformation here. By building thousands of kilometers of new roads and upgrading thousands more, Egypt literally catapulted itself up the global rankings. It jumped 100 places in less than a decade, from way down at 118th in the world for road quality all the way up to 18th. That is a massive leap. And of course, when you talk about connecting Egypt to the world, you have to talk about the Suez Canal. The huge expansion project they finished back in 2015 has turned out to be a massive success. It has nearly doubled the annual revenue and just cemented its critical role in global trade.
Now, what's really fascinating is how all of this stuff, the factories, the roads, it all supports something even more fundamental: national sovereignty. We're talking about a country's ability to secure its own food, its own water, and the health of its people.
So, to tackle the huge challenge of water and food security, Egypt has launched one of the most ambitious land reclamation projects anywhere. By building the world's largest water treatment plant, they can now recycle millions of cubic meters of water every single day to irrigate and cultivate huge new areas of farmland, literally creating new green space right out of the desert. It's incredible.
And that drive for self-sufficiency, it doesn't stop with crops. It extends to protein, too. Through enormous investments in industrial-scale fish farming, Egypt has become a world leader in aquaculture. In fact, it now supplies a whopping 80% of the country's entire fish consumption. But, a transformation like this can't just be about concrete and steel and farmland. It has to be about people. It's about fundamentally improving the day-to-day lives of its citizens through major investments in everything from public health to housing.
And maybe the most powerful example of this is the fight against hepatitis C. See, a decade ago, Egypt was in the grips of a massive national health crisis. This number right here, That was the estimated share of the population affected by the virus.
So what did they do? The response was just unprecedented. They launched this groundbreaking national campaign to screen the entire population. All in all, over 60 million people were tested for the virus.
So, through this massive screening effort, they found millions of people who had the virus. The next step, of course, was actually treating them. And the number of people they managed to cure? Well, it's just staggering. Okay, so get this. In the end, the campaign successfully treated and cured more than 4.1 million citizens. The result was a historic public health victory, slashing the prevalence rate from a devastating 10% all the way down to this tiny number. It's an achievement the World Health Organization now points to as a model for the entire world. And that wasn't the only major social achievement. Let's talk about housing. A national program to clear dangerous slums and build hundreds of thousands of new, safe homes has had a dramatic effect. I mean, just look at the change on this chart. The proportion of people living in urban slums has dropped from over half of the entire urban population to just 5.2% today. Okay, so that's a decade of nonstop work across the board. What's the bottom line? What do all these projects add up to? Let's look at the hard economic numbers.
And the results? They're powerful, and they are crystal clear. Foreign direct investment has skyrocketed by nearly 7 times. The country's foreign currency reserves have more than tripled. And as a result, major credit rating agencies like S&P have upgraded the nation's outlook, which is basically a huge vote of confidence in its economic stability.
So this decade of just relentless building has laid a seriously impressive foundation. And with even more mega projects like a 2,000-kilometer high-speed rail network and a new nuclear power plant already in the works, the story of Egypt, it's clearly not just about its ancient past anymore. So the real question, the one everyone is asking is, with this foundation now firmly in place, what comes next for this ancient nation?